morning and welcome to Geeksphere TV. I'm your host tonight, Bradley Burrows, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Mr. Craig Brock. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, buddy, all the way down here in the Southern Hemisphere. How's it going in the Northern?
It's actually really nice. We've got the first day of spring today over here in the United States. So it's good. It's good. It's really, really good. How's your tech week going? Are you having a good tech week?
It depends. I could probably axe murder a few people, but other than that, pretty good.
Yeah, it's been a bit like that over this side of the world too. So, no, look, it's been an interesting couple of weeks. Now, apologies for not making the show last week. Some of us, Skip, were moving roles, and Skip couldn't get off his lazy ass to actually make the show. No, seriously, we had a lot of things going on with the team, so we decided to postpone and do a really good episode for you guys tonight. So, before we get into things. Big thank you to all our subscribers on YouTube. If you wanted to get in contact with the show, I'm going to do plugs at the beginning and the end. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also across the i-based networks. But to get things going, we're going to kick off the news in brief.
Excellent. That's my cue. PlayStation 4. You guys are pretty big PlayStation 4 guys, aren't you? Actually, you're not, It's mainly me.
It's mainly
so PlayStation announced probably about a week or so ago that they're going to release some of their titles on PC. That's right. They're talking about, that's right. So they're talking about things like Uncharted 4. There'll be things like Last of Us and what have you. So, so the announcement is light on details, but apparently they're running a preview at the moment for a sneak preview, although they call it a private test, over the next few weeks. So
why do you do the deep voice when you say private test?
Because it's just exciting. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what the take on this is. So it's obviously I guess a compete for Xbox Live Play Anywhere. But I'm just trying to think what else is the hook. But look, by the by, if you've got a PlayStation and you have a PC, you might be able to play some of your best titles soon. So I think that's pretty cool.
I would be keen to buy for the ability to play it across.
Well, I reckon the catch would be that you probably have to be a PlayStation Plus member or something like that. I'm just throwing it out there. Otherwise, they kind of remove their need for you to have a PlayStation then. And you could argue then why would you need a PlayStation? So yeah, I think there'll be a hook. Probably like Microsoft's Xbox Play service they announced in the last few weeks will probably be like a $10 a month or something like that. But let's wait and see what happens. So I think just looking at this further, I might just jump on to the next story, Bradley, because this one's pretty good too. Intel, did you guys know Intel was involved with Tesla at the start? Did you guys know that? You're allowed to say no. So look, Intel was involved with Tesla particularly around getting their automatic cars going. And so they might have had a bit of a falling out with good old Tesla because apparently there was a bit of an accident that happened and that didn't end well. So I think they've had a bit of a falling out and they've been working recently with the likes of Mobileye. And now these are self-driving cars working with Mobileye. And I tell you why these guys are doing it, because they kind of are losing market share in PCs because a lot of people are going mobile and Intel kind of doesn't own that market. So they've been working with the likes of Tesla. They had a falling out and they've been working with a company called Mobileye and they've just bought them. So the Jerusalem-based partner for how much, Bradley?
$1 billion.
Actually, try $15 billion.
Get out of here.
No, I'm not joking. So the deal was first reported on an Israeli business site, The Marker. But now the company is confirmed the merger has been confirmed by two companies. So that'll be pretty exciting. Now, just to give you a little details around the spat that happened between Intel and Tesla, apparently there was a fatal Model S crash in Florida.
Oh, yes, that was huge news over here.
Yeah. So I think it probably would have come down to Imagine two tech companies involved in something like that, and they probably point the finger at each other. So, Intel are looking at new ways to invest and make money. So, and as with Google and whoever else are coming up with stuff, they're looking at autonomous cars. It's got to be the future.
Microsoft announced last week or the week before that they're now moving their server operating system to be able to work on ARM as well.
No, I think it's good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's interesting that they're going to be releasing that. So, yeah, it's diversifying. Sorry about the interruption before, too. I had to go turn one of the electrical appliances off behind here. And we'll be talking about electrical appliances later, won't we, Craig?
We'll be delving into the world of electrical appliances.
We will. We were going deep and deep into that world. All right, look, I want to sort of debunk a myth that's been going on, and I'm one of the conspiracy theorists that actually believe this was true. Every time Apple releases a new phone, so the iPhone 7 here, we get a damn new connector at the end of it, the lightning port or whatever is going on, or they remove the headphone jack and then go out and buy more accessories from Apple. And everyone's like, it's for the money, it's for the money. Well, look, it looks like after a bit of research, some companies have actually come out with the actual numbers, and it's only going to make up, wait for it, I love saying this word, dongles. The dongle base only makes up 5% of Apple's revenue. Now, it's 5% of a very, 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 very big number, but it's not as much as everyone was thinking, which was going to be the 20-30% range. The iPhone still makes up 70%, and the MacBook range makes up about 15%, and then there's the services is really coming up. But it looks like the dongle only makes up 5% of its actual range. So, with all the iPhone 8 rumors going on that they're going to be removing the lightning port on the iPhone, and the conspiracy theory is already ripping up that it's just for money, it's just for money. Nah, you're not. You're wrong. Sorry. It's going to be that. Now, hopefully, rumor mill, I'm hoping, if the iPhone 8 does come out, we have a USB-C and we actually get some standardization. Standardization, boys.
Are they likely to change that? I guess they are this time round. I mean, they've made a massive amount of changes in the last lot.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Here's the thing for me. Even if they do make 5% of their $100 bajillion each year, it wouldn't be worth the impact to people who flick off their phone. I reckon 5% of the people would probably go, screw you, I want my headphone jack back. I'm going to go buy a Galaxy S7 or something like that. Yeah, that's my take on it. I think you'd impact your business by 5%. I made that up. Sounded good though.
A stat always sounds good.
Do you want to hit your next one too?
I love hitting things. All right. So the worldwide founder of the internet, I'm going to stuff up this name for Skip. He's going to slap me silly. Tim Berners-Lee. Oh, I got it right. Got to get the thunder up from our lovely producer tonight. All right. He is the father, the godfather, one of the creators of the modern internet as we know it now. Now, the World Wide Web, I should say, is actually celebrating its 28th anniversary this week. And Tim's come out and sort of had a bit of a chat around where he sees it and what's going on with it. And he's become rather increased about over the last 12 months, sort of around some key trends that, he sees that the world must tackle for the internet or the web as today to fulfill its true potential. He cited compromising in personal data as being one. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have a big issue with personal data or fake identities and stuff over here at the moment in New Zealand, but over here in the States, in the last 6 or 7 months, the number of ads on TV and radio for companies that help protect your identity is really, I've noticed a big uptake there. Fake news, American politics has brought this into the forefront, but it's been highlighted with Facebook, I know, doing some work, and Google are doing some work. And the lack of regulation in political advertising. He says those sort of 3 key factors allows the web to be used for evil, not good. I sound like Spider-Man then. And he really wants it sort of to be looked at. He looks at things like WikiLeaks and that sort of being on the fringe of bad, but also had the potential to do good. And tools can be turned around on governments, and he wants to get away from that. So it's interesting where his point of view is coming from. I agree on the identity side of it, and the fake news stuff just drives me insane. I mean, we have news stations over here like Fox News, which is pretty much one of the biggest. It's like TMZ for news, if you like.
Really?
And it's pretty
sure the Herald's become that.
So do you get Fox over there?
On a on a vague channel on Sky somewhere. Yeah, look, I actually think news reporting has changed in the last 5 years, and it's just become clickbait. A lot of it,
Yeah, it has
like
definitely.
real world clickbait. Because they've had to change with the times. But yeah, I think what's the old saying? With power comes responsibility.
With
And
great
that's
power comes great responsibility.
pretty much where we are. Just because you said Spider-Man, I've started going off in the comic land.
I know it's pretty good. I was quite impressed. Now, this next story, I know Skip has been really worked up over this one.
I don't know if they can hear you, Skip, but it's great watching your responses as we talk about it.
Fantastic.
Anywho, let's dig right into the story.
Let's go into Dirk Diggler.
It's sticking out like a sore thumb.
It is. It's
Smart
protruding like a 12-inch warrior.
I don't even know where to start. I'm just gonna read the banner, right? The smart sex toys firm coughs up 3.7 million in privacy lawsuit. All right, I'm gonna read what they call companies that do Internet of Things sex toys. What do we think they're called, guys? Let me read this to you. A US teledildonics company. That's right. I'm going to start my own teledildonics company. So apparently they've settled a privacy infringement lawsuit for 3.7 million US. And guess what they were doing, Bradley? Yes, that's right. There's a third-party application and a cloud service that might just be tracking all of your stuff.
There's a lot of
when I say all of that, I mean all of that.
There's a lot of people, couples out there, or of a particular sex, going, "Oh crap! Oh crap!"
So I won't go into too much detail here because.
Oh no, go into the detail, please, Craig. I want to hear it.
Well, there's actually not a lot, but I could make stuff up.
Let's do that.
But I don't want to.
Well, let's create some fake news.
So again, what this company is doing is, so you can. I'm assuming, because we haven't looked into it too deeply. I'm assuming that you could set up sort of a profile on their service or what have you, and it can track things like vibration intensity levels selected by the user. Apparently, there's 300,000 of these things out there already. 750 grand worth of purchases of the actual vibrator. Brilliant.
Okay. Couple of ideas. Two things. One, we sort of spoke about this before the show. One, I would love to see some Tinder integration where you could see what's going on there. Second one, you got to have achievements like you do in Xbox Live. I want to see a points-based system, and the higher the rating with the integration, you can have achievements going through.
Yep, you could just see it on like a Tinder profile. You get like an Xbox Live type of gamer profile achievement. X amount of hours in the seat, all that type of stuff. I'm not going to go too deep into it.
I'll do look penetrate the article, Craig. Penetrate it.
Let me read this though. 3 million pop for users of the app affected by its data slurping activities.
Say what?
Yeah, they use that. Is that
we've got coughing and slurping in a press release from a dildo company?
Yeah.
Wow.
Anywho, needless to say, we thought that was a great conversation. So, two lawsuits against this company. They've obviously settled out of court because it's not worth fighting over it. Yeah. So,
sorry, I have another question. Since it's IoT, can you device manage this thing with MDM software?
I imagine you could probably put some form of biometric MFA in place.
When did you get Windows Hello policies pushed onto the dildo? You have to hold it up till you get facial recognition on it, and then it unleashes.
I was thinking more something else, Bradley. But
I know. I was trying to lift it up a couple of layers.
I was just leaving it the veneer so people could use their imaginations. Anyhow,
okay. I think we should move on to this one to death. Okay, moving on to another couple of topics. Xbox Live. Look, over the last couple of weeks, it seems like the Xbox Live network has had some sign-in issues. I haven't experienced this. I'm not sure if you guys have, but it looks like the Xbox One, the Xbox 360, and a few other devices. Once you signed out, you couldn't get back in. It looks like it's to do with an authentication service. Looks like Microsoft's authentication services were down for Xbox Live Network for about 2.5 hours. But there's been a couple of these happening recently with not only the Xbox service, but I think Spotify and Pandora also have had some login service issues as well. Did you guys experience any? Have you had anything go on down that part of the world?
No, not on my end. Yeah.
I'm trying.
That's all I got. I've not seen it. Hey?
I'm trying not to flip back to the previous story. And I'm just trying to move this one along.
You'll lose an eye, Bradley.
Oh.
So the short version is no, I haven't. We haven't seen any issues here, at least not that I've seen. And how do we know how long it went on for?
Yeah, about 2.5 hours.
Well, we probably, unless you're on it. I mean, unless you're the type of person that's on it all day, every day. I'm not going to name names, but there's a few people I know. Unless you probably wouldn't see it.
Okay.
Do you know when did it happen?
It happened twice last week.
Like during the day or?
Well, yeah, my daytime, your early morning, I think it was.
Okay. We'll all be at work anyway.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Any of you guys used a Kodi unit?
Yes.
Media unit? For those that don't know, Kodi boxes, well, I guess they're kind of like, what would you call them? Like an Apple TV device, except mainly for playing media.
Yeah, they're an Android little box that you buy, similar to. Hold on, let me grab one.
Like a Roku.
I got it here. They're quite big. Something about that size.
Yep.
And people are actually putting them inside these old Apple TV boxes.
So what's been happening in the UK? There's been a massive crackdown by authorities and a bit of a media hype around the fact that they're illegal, and in fact they're not illegal. So I'd say there's been a bunch of media sensationalization. I made that up too. That was a pretty good word.
Sounds pretty good. Yeah, I'm impressed.
Really about that people are obtaining media illegally, but it's quite simply not. It's just a platform. So, we don't need to go into too much detail. I'll read you some of it because there's a lot of boxes out there, as we all know. You could argue the same vein that Plex, like Roku, Apple TV, anything that you can play pretty much all your media on. Relevant of how you got that media, and that's kind of the question, is the trick of whether these are illegal or not. So I'll just read a few things out of the article here. Apparently there's a bunch of add-ons that you can get that allow you to do crazy stuff like download media. And so in theory, that's illegal, but still the Kodi isn't illegal. So I think because of its free openware plugin type thing, much like XBMC used to do, or Windows Media Center.
But MB does the same thing. MB has that plugin module.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing. So I think it's just the massive thing in the UK at the moment is that again, clickbait media that we're just talking about, they're sensationalizing this, going, it's illegal, we should stop selling them. So again, using Kodi to gain access to pirated content is illegal. How you pirate content is irrelevant. So I think that's where the grey area starts to come in. And then we could even talk about TV content versus movies and stuff like that, and games and apps. So we won't go into that in this show because we could be here all night, and then we'll probably get shot by someone, and there'll be a dude at the front of the driveway waiting for me or something. I made that up. Anyway, so I read it here. The apparent crackdowns by authorities isn't related to Kodi, and that's where the misinformation gets out of hand. It also giving the service a bad name and isn't deserved, because Kodi is an open source and available to use on a number of different platforms. It makes it fairly easy to modify to do unscrupulous things. I'd never use that word, but it was pretty cool. So that's where it comes in. I mean, like, it's just like everything, right? I mean, you know how you obtain your media. You're either doing it illegally or not. So just be careful. It's my advice. Be
Um,
wise.
Okay, so some local news for you guys. Spark Digital, which is the largest telecommunications provider in New Zealand, today I sort of talked through what they're doing with 4G and the New Zealand telecommunications network. It seems that they have been meeting up with the local New Zealand Minister of Communications, Mr. Simon Bridges, and we're talking through or talking up their new 4.5G, as they call it, or LTE Advanced or LTE Advanced Pro. They said they're moving towards implementing 4.5G across New Zealand. Currently, New Zealand has 94% coverage with its 4G service. Spark are aiming to get to 99%. One of the key benefits of the LTEA Pro or LTEA, let's go through that side, is that Telstra in Australia are currently testing the LTEA Pro service right now, and they're experiencing speeds of 1 gigabits per second. Now, challenge here, of course, it's the network is not congested. There's no one else on it. These are standalone tests. The LTEA Pro also has a theoretical speed of up to excess of 3 gigabits per second. Again,
Wow.
I want to emphasize theoretical. So, look, I think it's a good move in the right way. Just to give you some perspective, though, Korea is rolling out 5G. And
They're all giganeers.
yeah, they are giganeers, and it is going to be stupidly fast over there. But I think it's good for you guys. Now, I know over here in the States, we have, because obviously we have quite a huge landmass in the country, different areas have different sort of dominant providers, like AT&T and LTE, sorry, AT&T and T-Mobile here in Washington State are quite big. In New York, talking to Mary Jo Foley, things like Verizon have good coverage for parts of the city, but places like T-Mobile don't have good coverage. So when you guys travel around New Zealand or you've done any work, do you get your LTE bands? Do you have any problems with it over there? Because it used to be quite bad with blackouts and stuff with 3G.
Not really. I found as a Spark customer, I found to be pretty good coverage from most of the main centres I go to. So I can't complain. And in fact, it's more often than not faster than most other things you can get. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It'll be interesting to see what happens with the other providers. What is it? Vodafone and 2 Degrees and those guys, what they're going to do. Or do they piggyback off the Spark network for everything?
I don't think so. They're their own separate
Standalone.
networks. Yeah, which is good. Think how fast your Internet of Things services will go. How much data you could slurp out of that.
Yeah, and it's portable too.
I can't help myself. Anyway, speaking of slurping, Apple owes taxes in New Zealand since
How much,
2007. Let me read through the story first. A report by the New Zealand Herald, our serious friends at the Herald, pointed out that Apple owes taxes in New Zealand since 2007, despite selling over, now this is what blows me away, $4.2 billion worth of smartphones and other devices in the country. That's a lot of business for a company that doesn't really have a lot of, how do I put it, exposure in our country.
Well, they had an office in Auckland which had no one in it, and they've just opened an office in Wellington with 3 or 4 people in it. So that's a lot of gosh, man.
And yeah. So I guess the challenge might be is that comes from maybe web sales, etc., of which they're not paying taxes on. So this is not the first time Apple have been embroiled in tax-related conversations. Last year, they were done by the European Commission, ruled that Apple benefited from an unusual tax system in Ireland. This meant that Apple had to pay $14.4 billion in tax. So what does it say here? The report here, NZ Herald claimed that the Apple paid $37 million in taxes to the Australian tax office. This arrangement hadn't been placed, but yeah, I think they're just generally getting caught out. We talked about this a while ago, though, probably about 6 months ago, when we talking about all the services. Wasn't it Netflix that was going to get done for not paying GST and taxes and stuff? So all the online services that are based overseas, they're the same thing. They don't pay tax. Do we care? So, I mean, I'm going to throw that at you guys. Or does it matter if they're not based here, consuming costs or whatever? I don't know. What do you call it?
I think
it does. Yeah.
I think it does, because if you can't have one rule for one group and sort of bend the rules, because everyone, in theory, everyone could move to online, base all their business out of their residence out of Fiji, still do business in New Zealand, and you know, countries rely on tax to get things done. How they use it, let's not get into that debate. But they require some money in the kitty to be able to get stuff done. So yeah, everyone should pay it. And look, companies that are making $4.5 billion in New Zealand, that's and they're paying the money that they pay to the Australian government for the New Zealand tax. That's just wrong. So everyone's got to pay their fair bill, whether it's Microsoft, Apple, Adobe, Google, Facebook, any of the big one, any of them. They've got to do it because we all have to pay tax. Well, I did when I was there. I know you guys do while you're there. So why should you pay tax then if Apple can get away with it?
Well, I guess there's another aspect of that too. Is they're possibly taking money, I guess, or jobs, possible profit from local bodies, so local shops, local services, by delivering them direct from cloud services. So in theory, that's also lost revenue and taxes, etc. So yeah, I tend to agree with you. I was just playing devil's advocate to go, they don't need to pay tax. Why would they pay tax? So that'll be an interesting one. It's really, and I'm absolutely sure this is part of the whole Alphabet renaming 2 years ago, was it?
Yeah, about 2 years ago now.
There'll be some twofold. It'll be avoiding local laws and what have you, and then also taxes.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely certain of it. Anyway,
Alrighty.
Alphabet soup.
Yeah, let's wrap this puppy up. It's late over here in Seattle. Okay, so what else we got here on the show notes? It looks like Skip's been adding some interesting show notes there for us to read tonight. All right, so where can we find you, Mr. Brock, on the old internet?
Okay, I'm just reading the producer's notes. It's just interesting to keep a straight face.
It's getting a bit phallic now.
Yeah, you can find me at Brad Paul at Bulldog NZ on Twitter sphere, and pretty much you can find us everywhere. Geeksphere TV across all of the major social networks. Bradley, if you've got an iDevice, and anyone out there, please do subscribe to us on iTunes, and to please send us some feedback. We love the feedback. If you got us on YouTube, so as you know, we're streaming to you live on YouTube and also on Microsoft Beam. Is it Microsoft Beam? It is Microsoft Beam, eh? We are pretty much streaming live nowadays, so please subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, YouTube's the big one. We really want to move the medium across into the YouTube network. So, and Mr. Producer, where can we get a hold of you tonight? Oh, no. At Urban Kiwi NZ, I think it is. And I do want to say a huge thank you to our lovely producer, Mr. Skip Parker, tonight. He's been running all the videos and keeping the show amusing from our side. You can grab me at Brad Bohr on the Twitter sphere. And as Craig mentioned, subscribe. Please share amongst your friends. Give us likes on our YouTube. We really want to get the network up and going. So we do appreciate your support out there. All right,
gents.
Let's wrap this up. And have a good tech week, everyone. And I'm going to go and have a chat to see what's going on with my Internet of Things upstairs.
Bye.
Bye.